feel like, wow, I didn't see you so long time. You also feel like that?
Yes, Sante. Yes, Sante. But you know, Devante, there is someone else take care of like live stream or like take care like Mr. Big, Mrs. Phuong. Yes, Sante.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's start with meditation. Let's sit in a comfortable meditation posture. Make sure your back is erect. Side chest down. Amy, is that coming, or are you coming along today?
I'm coming along.
Okay. So we will meditate with opened eyes. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 12 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 12 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 12 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy. And changing. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be happy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes. We allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy and changing. And we allow all of the body parts to be changing. So as we give freedom to the body to be the way it is, we ourselves achieve freedom from worry about the body. Let's observe this freedom. Let's watch this peace. Now let's share our peace with other living beings. So in our minds, voicelessly, we can recite and wish, but we don't force or expect anything at all. We just allow, may all beings in this room be in peace. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. May all beings in this country be in peace. May all beings on this continent be in peace. May all beings on this planet be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. We have changed the way of our sitting. Let's take one more minute to enjoy the peace that we gained in meditation while we don't move at all. Okay, very well. So let's get to our chanting. So I would like to ask everybody to unmute. Yamahang vadami tang vadetha.
Amabante.
So let's try it again. Yamahang vadami tang vadetha.
Amabante.
Amabante.
Aham bhante.
Amabante.
Tisaranena saha.
Tisarana
Saha.
Panchasilang dhammang yajami.
Panchasilang dhammang yajami.
Anugraham katva.
Anugraham katva.
Ilang veta me bhante.
Silang deta me bhante.
Anukampang upadaya.
Anukampang upadaya.
So when you're taking the precepts and when you're asking me for something, it is very good to keep your hands together at the chest so that we know that you're serious and you're not just training some reciting, but if you can keep your hands at the chest, then I know that you are meaning it seriously, including Amy and everybody else. Dutiyampi aham bhante.
Dutiyampi aham bhante.
Tisaranena saha.
Tisaranena saha.
Panchasilang dhammang yajami.
Panchasila
Silang Dhammam Yajami.
Anugraham katva.
Anugraham Katva.
Silang deta me bhante.
Silang Deta Me Bhante.
Anukampang upadaya.
Anukampang Padaya.
Tatiyampi aham bhante.
Tatiyampi Aham Bhante.
Saranena saha.
Sanena Saha.
Panchasilang dhammang yajami.
Panchasilang
Anugraham katva.
Anugraham Katva.
Silang deta me bhante.
Silang Deta Me Bhante.
Anukampang upadaya.
Anukampang Padaya.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Namo
Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Namo
Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Namo
Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dhammam saranam gacchāmi, Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Buddham
Saranam
Saranam
Gacchāmi. Dhammam Saranam Gacchāmi. Sangham Saranam Gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchāmi.
Saranagamanaṃ paripunnaṃ.
Amabante.
Okay. So, Teen Phuc, can you tell me what is the first precept?
Not killing.
Perfect. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
So also with the precepts, remember to keep your hands together at the chest so that it's clear that you're really going to follow these precepts, that it's not like you're saying. So I would like to see Amy also to keep her hands together throughout the time. Thank you very much. What is the second precept? Jing Ngok Kanwan.
It's not stealing.
Not stealing. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Okay. Amy, what is the third precept? Okay, I cannot hear you at all. So can you come closer to your camera? You're unmuted. You just need to come very close because you're so far that I cannot hear you. As close as you can.
I'm not even sure which one we're on.
Now I can hear you. So what is the third precept?
I'm not sure which one we're on.
You're not sure what is the third precept? Okay.
Yeah.
Pham Tung Chi. What is the third precept?
It's no sexual misconduct.
Perfect. Kame sumichhācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Kame
Sumichhācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
So, Thiền. What is the fourth precept?
Do not false speak.
I cannot hear you well. Can you come closer to the camera?
Refraining from false speech.
Right, that's right. So what does that mean in other words? How would you say it in other words?
Do not lie.
That's right, thank you. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Musavara
Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
And finally, Diklam. Can you tell us what is the fifth precept?
Not a fifth precept. To follow.
Refraining from
Can you come closer to the camera and tell me Diklam? I cannot hear you now. I don't know why. Any idea why I cannot hear you, Diklam? It seems like you were saying something, but I didn't hear any sound from your side. Okay, you're writing it in the chat box. So let's ask Max. What is the fifth precept?
The fifth precept is.
Can you tell from your memory?
I think it's the one where you don't drink alcohol.
That's right, not drinking alcohol. And Isabella, can you say what's the next part of the fifth precept?
Refraining from drugs.
That's right, thank you. Sura meraya majjapamada thana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Very well. Tisaranena saddhing panchasilang dhammang satukang surakkitang katva appamadena sampadetang. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So now, let's get to our big questions. So first question, how many times did you meditate the last 7 days?
Tín hiệu. Không có quả đâu. Không có. Cô lấy quả này đi.
Okay, so it seems that we have a little progress. Seems like some of you indeed did increase at least 1 day from the previous week. So I think that's amazing. So we have only 1 out of you who meditated just 1 or 2 days the last week. Everybody else meditated at least 3 times. I think that's a true success. That's a true success. All of those who meditated 3 to 4 times, if you can add 1 more, so you're 3 people, if you can add 1 more meditation, well, then I promise I will be satisfied for some time. So I think you're pretty well, you're pretty good. And I think you're pretty good. So I wish you that you're successful like that every week, and that you can increase and increase so that you meditate every day. You do not have to meditate, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. 5 minutes is totally enough. And you do not have to meditate, with crossed legs, in your room in the morning at a particular time. You can meditate on the car. You can meditate on the bus or at school during the recess when you have the break. So no problem at all. It is very important that you have your regular time and regular place. But if you miss it, that's why you need to have it in the morning. Then you can always do it at another opportunity, and it counts 100%. So, for example, you decide, okay, so I will meditate 5 minutes every time after I get up in the morning. And then one day you forget. Well then, so as you go to school, if you go on the car or on the bus, if you can have at least 5 minutes, well then, sit in a keep your legs in 90 degrees, so do not keep your feet too far behind or too far in front of you. Keep them nicely placed on the floor. You can have shoes, no problem with that. Keep your back erect or leaning over the back of the seat if you are going in a transport vehicle. And make your determination from now on for 5 minutes. I will meditate on muscles without any movement, and you can do your meditation on 5 minutes. And so you do at least one cycle on muscles, and the rest you observe your peace. And then when 5 minutes has finished, you can look at the clock during your meditation. And when 5 minutes is done, then you decide from now on, I will always be calm, and you're done. Done. It should not be that complicated. It's just about the habit to meditate every day. Anyone has any question about that? So far, everything's clear. So let's look at the second question. When did you do your homework? Okay, so it seems that only 2 people of you did the homework on the same day or the next day when it was given. 2 of you did it 3 days later. I think that's not bad. So almost half of you did your homework relatively early. But with the remaining 5 out of you, because at this moment it seems we have 9 voters. So as soon as you get the opportunity, if you can do your homework, that would be great. I have noticed that only 3 people did not submit their homework by the time when our organizers were checking it, which I found amazing. That was so good. So I think that was our best we ever had, right? What do you think, Tutam?
Yes, Sante.
That was the best, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we are
Much better.
definitely getting a progress. We are still getting a progress. We started in February, and today we have July, and we are still progressing and making new advances toward an amazing class with a nice structure, meditating, wise, intelligent, smart, calm, successful people. So The idea is that you will not just learn about the Buddha's teachings, but also that you will get power over your mind. And when you get power over your mind, you have power over everything. So with your power, you get your freedom. With freedom, you get happiness, you get success, and you get peace. And when you get that, then people around you also get more success and peace and more happiness. That's the amazing thing, that as soon as you are peaceful and wise and successful, other people, thanks to your good attitude, that's the main point. Thanks to your good attitude, thanks to your loving kindness, other people also prosper. So if it is not for you, then at least it should be for all others around you, that you meditate, that you learn to do your homework early, that you try out the various practices provided by the Buddha's teachings. All right, so then let's look at your homework. So I would like to ask Ji Thiền, Thiên Phúc, and Đức Lâm to raise your hand. Thank you. So let's start with Ji Thiền. So you can unmute yourself. You can wait until it's visible, but if you can read it yourself, it's also fine, because then you're not dependent on the technical issues.
I'll wait a bit because I don't have it.
I cannot hear you. Can you come closer and speak louder?
I'll say I'll wait because I didn't save the.
Okay, you will wait for the organizers. All right. There you go. Nice. I'm happy now. Tutam is this viewed by Tutam or by someone else?
Yes, it's me, Bante.
Nice. So you have learned it. What was the difficulty there? How do you resolve it?
I zoom the I zoom before I share the screen, Bante.
I see. But now, can you zoom by fingers, or is this zoomed by Control Plus?
Control Plus, Bante.
I see. Well, that's nothing new. But if you can learn to do it by fingers, that's good.
Yeah, I try the fingers and it works, Bante. But it seems that it's out of control. Sometimes it's so big, or I can control well with the fingers.
Did you consider that it's because the computer is slow? Maybe you could try just a little and wait.
Yes.
Okay. It may be because of the computer is slow. On my computer, it never happens that even the computer is very slow and still I can zoom smoothly. But it's possible that the technology I'm using is a little different, and it allows the smooth zoom. So you can try doing little by little and wait and see if something happens.
Yes, Bante.
All right, so Ji Thiền, I'm waiting for you.
If recreational drugs were tools, alcohol would be a sledgehammer.
Please wait. Read for us the page, the chapter name, and then the page number, and then please continue reading the note.
Chapter 8, Alcohol, page 100. If recreational drugs were tools, alcohol would be a sledgehammer. The psychiatrist Aaron White wrote in a paper for the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism in 2004. Page 101. While we need to have laws and regulations enforced, the problem with having a hard and fast line of demarcation for alcohol consumption is that the brain doesn't suddenly turn on the fully wired switch when a certain chronological age is reached.
Very well. Thank you very much. Đức Lâm.
Yes.
So instead of searching like that, you could press Control F and type it. Okay. And you found him. Okay, no problem.
Yes, Bhante.
Page 113. Alcohol.
Please read the please tell us also the chapter name.
Oh, I forgot that.
Chapter 8, alcohol. Can you say it?
Chapter 8, alcohol. Alcohol can, page 115. Alcohol can direct affect the other way our synapse works, especially those used for memory. Page 132. Michael Tuck at the research institute he has used primates to study the effects of drinks on the hiccups during adolescence, or has found that alcohol not only kills off neurons in the hippocampus, but also impairs to the hippocampus the ability to produce new one.
Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. Thiên Phúc.
I
So
can,
you could press Control F.
Yeah, I
Can you
can't
press
like,
Control-
I don't,
If you press Control F, nothing happens?
yes, nothing happened, Bhante.
Uh-huh.
So I see that's if not in the Zoom, it works. But when I share in the Zoom, it doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
This is in chapter 8, alcohol, page 106. The pyramidal cells specifically help the hippocampus and autobiographical memories about experiences into long-term storage. Alcohol blocks the ability of these hippocampal pyramidal cells to do their job, preventing the brain from forming autobiographical memories. Page 107, alcohol damages more than just gray matter. White matter too has been shown to get digged up in teens who abused alcohol.
Very nice. Thank you very much. So let me now share with you my notes. So chapter 8, alcohol. Researchers have shown a direct correlation between hippocampal volume and the age of onset of alcohol abuse. The earlier the use and the longer the abuse, the smaller the hippocampus. And hippocampus serves memory, right? Let us see, what is hippocampus for? For memory, long-term memory and memory retrieval. So your hippocampus is very important for your memory about your life. So your nice memories from your life basically get erased by the alcohol. And that's not good, because this is what identifies you. You're basically erasing yourself from the world as soon as you start to drink alcohol. The earlier the use, okay, alcohol blocks glutamate receptors that are key for building new synapses. The correct pronunciation is synapses. All right, and this explains why people who drink heavily have major memory problems. So we have already heard some of those things here, and let's continue to another point. When alcohol consumption is small to moderate, a person suffers what are commonly called cocktail party memory deficits, the kind of memory lapses that include someone's name or part of a conversation. So, as you can see, drinking alcohol is pretty bad for memory in all respects. All right, so then let's move on to pot. This is not a cooking pot. This is actually marijuana, cannabis, ganja, or THC, whatever way you call it. In the US, some people colloquially call it pot. And let me see how many pages this takes in the book. This takes, well, this takes quite a few pages, about 12 pages, but I think it's worth it to do this at once. Otherwise, you would have it in tiny little pieces, and that's not good. So let's do it for the next week. Next week. Yeah, next week I think we can meet peacefully. So see if you can read all of the chapter pot about cannabis, about marijuana, ganja, THC, whatever you want to call it is fine. Important is that you do not use it. And you will learn more about the damage that people who are taking it cause to themselves. It's as if you play a game, and instead of going to play with another player or play with the NPCs or whatever is there in the game, you kill yourself. How much does that make sense? Doesn't make much sense to me, especially if there is so much more that you need to do in this world. So there is so much more you need to do in this world. You need to become a knowledgeable person, helpful to others. Maybe you want to have family. Maybe you want to become enlightened. Maybe you want to be wise. Maybe you want to show your parents that it was worth it to take care of you throughout your life. Maybe you are thankful to some other people and you want to show them your gratitude, at least by becoming a good person. So there are so many things you want to do in this life. Now, at this moment, you don't have that many responsibilities, but when you get family, when you get a house, when you get children, there are a lot of responsibilities. You don't want to kill yourself. You want to make yourself as able as possible. You don't want to cut off your hands and legs and break out your eyes and so on, which is basically what the alcohol is doing. The alcohol is making you useless, although you need to be useful. And you know what's the most ridiculous thing? That the people that need to be the most useful, they're making themselves even more, they're starting to make themselves useless, by drinking alcohol. Yes, Isabella?
This is somewhat related to the precepts on alcohol. So for the 5 precepts, you can break all of them with alcohol, because from what I think, you can break them all with alcohol. Alcohol can make you lie, it can make you kill, it can make you steal and do sexual misconduct. It can cause all of those, it can cause everything, it can break all 5 precepts at the same time, within my observation.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what the Buddha said. That's what we have in our scriptures. If you drink alcohol, then you will probably, then you are more probable, then you are prone to break the remaining 4 precepts. So people who drink alcohol, they find it quite difficult to restrain themselves. So when there's an opportunity, you know, when the teenagers, when they drink alcohol, then if they have a nice garden close by and the door is not well closed, yeah, they will go to the garden and they will steal the vegetables and fruits of someone else. And if they don't have enough money, then they're much easier to steal the money of their parents than if they do not drink the alcohol. And if somebody asks them, if their parents ask them, "Oh, did you drink alcohol?" because the children came too late, then the children, of course, will say that they did not drink alcohol, because if they say they did not drink alcohol, it's more probable that the parents will not be disappointed. But there is a lower probability that they would do it if they did not drink alcohol. Doesn't mean that nobody steals if they don't drink alcohol. Of course, many people kill, steal, commit adultery, and tell lies without drinking alcohol. But drinking alcohol makes it more probable that you would do it. And then it is more suffering after you have done it, because after you've done it, it's too late. It's done. People don't forget when you tell them a lie. People don't forget when you steal. And people never forget if you have sex with their wife or husband, or if you kill someone. That's not forgettable. So drinking alcohol is not good. But the idea is that many people drink alcohol and they feel that they're not harming anyone. They just drink alcohol because they like it. So even those who drink alcohol because they like it, they're harming a lot. They're harming all their surrounding, because they are decreasing their potential to be sufficiently good person, to have their memory. And so they're causing problems by lack of memory. They're reducing their potential, their powers, their abilities, their goodness. The Buddha says those who drink alcohol will go to hell, and those who drink alcohol a little will become crazy, will become mentally ill. And you don't want to become mentally ill, because when you become mentally ill, there is no way out of that. And alcohol is the way into that. So you don't want that. The same thing is with drugs. Taking drugs is the same thing as alcohol. The idea here is that the alcohol removes your mindfulness. Drugs also remove your mindfulness, so they're the same thing. When you take marijuana, marijuana is taking your ability to control your body. So with marijuana, you laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, even when you don't want to laugh. And then you're funny, and so people are laughing at you, and so people look down on you because you're the one who laughs, even though there's no reason. You're the one of low intelligence. But that's the start. If you smoke marijuana for some more time, then you actually start to lose your, I think, short-term memory. And then as you gradually lose your memory, well, then you're useless. I had an amazing friend at school who studied at South Africa. He was so smart. He was so clever. Then he came to our school and he started to have bad friends. He learned from them to smoke marijuana, and they were smoking their joints. Well, it's a joint operation, right? Smoking marijuana. So it's a joint. So they were smoking their joints, and he lost his memory, and he dropped out of that school. And that's the school that I followed was a prestigious school in the whole region of our country. So dropping out of that school is not a good thing. So marijuana definitely doesn't help, not as well as all other drugs. What is more confusing here is that the English word drug is a little confusing. So the word drug also means medicine. We are not talking about medicine and also about any other substances which do not obstruct your mindfulness. So if it obstructs your mindfulness, then it is drug. If it does not obstruct your mindfulness, it is not drug. So for example, sugar is drug. But will sugar obstruct your mindfulness? Will eating sugar, whatever amount, make your mind unable to understand and see and comprehend whatever you are hearing, seeing? No. There is no difference at all. So even though sugar is so-called drug, even though sugar is addictive, it is not, eating sugar in any amounts is not breaking the fifth precept. But eating sugar too much, I'd say, is foolishness, but not breaking the 5 precepts. Okay, that's a different thing. You can do foolish things without breaking the 5 precepts. You can also do 5 precepts, and other people may think it's not foolish, but we would say in Buddhism that any breaking of the 5 precepts is always foolishness, because it will return to you as suffering. So you're causing suffering to yourself, and that's foolishness. That's always foolishness. So we never want to cause harm to ourselves. All right, so we are going a little bit over time, but I want to make at least a little bit of progress with you in the Augasa recitation. So Augasa recitation. Augasa recitation. We already talked about it a little, and I wanted to start with you something I didn't. There was a benefit of that because I could prepare it with some other class, so that now we can look at it as it is prepared. So let's see, where do I have it? So we will be looking at the first part of Augasa. This recitation, this portion is actually enough for Augasa, but it's not complete. So as you can see, we have here 5 rows. I still did not provide sufficient translation for the remaining 3 rows. I will have to make my own translation because I'm not aware of any translation that's successful. But also the remaining 3 rows are very complicated because they contain mentions of several lists of things, and you need to know those lists of things. So it's not that simple. But the first 2 rows, the basic Augasa or the main Augasa recitation, is ready for you. So now we are facing here a little dilemma. Are you going to recite it only in English, which is my translation, or are you going to recite it in Burmese, which is the translation of the great masters of Myanmar and followed by perhaps 50 million people? So I would say let's do both. All right. For you, Burmese language might not mean anything at all. But think about it as if you were learning, how to say hello in a different language. It is a good idea to know how to say hello in a different language. Some of you maybe have learned how to say I love you in a different language. Well, you learn it because it may be useful, maybe sometimes. And in the same way, learning Augasa in Burmese language can be very useful. If you come to take 3 refuges, 5 precepts, then first of all you recite Augasa. Only then you get 3 refuges, 5 precepts. And if you can do it in Burmese and you are with the Burmese people, I think you cannot imagine how much they would appreciate if you can recite it, even though you're not Burmese. So the benefit is huge. But you will not be reciting something you don't know. You will be reciting something you know. And so we will be starting with the English recitation, and then we will do it again in Burmese. So for English, you can see what you see. For Burmese, of course, you will have to rely on my pronunciation. So I would like to ask everybody to unmute. So the meaning is there in the English, should be relatively clear, but you are saying this to the Buddha. Okay, so you're asking the Buddha's teachings, the community of monks. You are asking all of these three jewels, excuse me, I want to tell you something. I want to ask you for forgiveness. All right, so that's basically the meaning. And you are saying in a very respectful, in a very exact way. And sometimes you are adding their Pali words. All those Pali words are included in the English. So you are not saying anything that you would not know. But the Pali words are like coming closer to the Buddha, because the Buddha spoke in Pali. So we are adding these Pali words, and the Burmese version also is speaking in Burmese and adding the Pali words in brackets, or I put them in brackets so that it's clear, but they are there in the original recitation. So the Pali words are an integral part of the recitation. Okay, so you can, everybody, keep your hands together at the chest. And you can repeat after me. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
Excuse me, excuse me,
Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
In order that
in order that
In order that
all of the faults,
all of the
all of
faults,
the
sabbadosa,
Sappatosa,
done by body,
done by
my
body,
body,
kaya kamma,
kaya,
karma,
speech,
speech,
vachi kamma,
vachi karma,
karma,
or mind,
or mind,
mind,
mano kamma,
mano karma,
karma,
disappear
disappear.
disappear.
for the first time, for the second time, for the third time,
For the first time, for the second time, for the third time.
patama dutiya tatiya,
Patama Dutiya, Tatiya,
completing 3 times.
completing 3 times.
3 times.
I respectfully and humbly pay respect
I respectfully and
Respectfully
humbly
and humbly
respect
pay respect
and worship the jewel of Buddha,
and worship the jewel of
worship the
Buddha,
jewel of Buddha,
the jewel of Dhamma, the teachings,
the jewel
the
of
jewel
Dhamma,
of Dhamma,
the
the teachings,
and the jewel of Sangha, the community of monks,
and the jewel of
the jewel of
Sangha,
Sangha,
the
the
community of monks,
the 3 jewels, Venerable Sir.
the 3 jewels,
three
venerable.
jewels, venerable sir.
Okay. Now here, notice that here we have the, but it would make so much sense of saying my, right? But let's not say it, because it's actually not in the Burmese version. The Burmese version doesn't say whose are the faults. So you are supposed to be enough intelligent to realize that we are talking about our faults. All right. So now let's do this again in Burmese. This will be very, very new, but it's a good preparation, because you will later recite also the 3 refuges and 5 precepts in the Burmese pronunciation. Now we are really going to recite the true, real Burmese. But later, when you recite the 3 refuges, 5 precepts, you will only recite the Pali language in Burmese pronunciation. Okay, so everybody of you can keep your hands together at the chest, and you can repeat after me. Ogata, ogata, ogata.
Ogata,
Kaya wasika manoka
Kaya Wasiga Manoga,
Sabadota
Sabato,
Katendo
Katendo,
Apietoko
Apietoko,
Piaupa Sechen
Piao Pasi Chan,
Ajo Nga
Achonga,
Patama Dutiya Tatiya
Fatima,
Dejane Najane Tong Jane
the Jane, Dojing,
Yao Ao
No,
Thea Yatana
Yatana,
Thea Yatana
Yatana,
Tangha Yatana
Tanga Yatana,
Yatana Myatong Paduko
Yatana Miato,
Ayu Ate
Ayote,
Ali Nyak
Lianya,
Le O Mu Yue
the Umuyu,
Shiku Puzo
Chico Puso,
Pu Myo Man Shok
Unyo Manso,
Gadopa E
Adobai,
Shen Feya. Nice, very well. So I think this is pretty good. Actually, if you knew just this, it is totally enough. But I want to teach you a little more because the high-level Buddhists, in Myanmar, they know also the second part. And the highest level Buddhists in Myanmar, they know what the second part means. So we will be looking at the higher and also the highest level. All right. You will rarely find Buddhists who also know the second part, which we did not recite today yet. And you will even rarer find Buddhists who actually understand what are those particular lists in that second part recitation. So you'll be looking at that. And I wish that all of you know it amazingly, so that if after 5 years, somebody wakes you up, in the midnight and say, so what is this list? Four kinds of vipatti, what is that? You will immediately be able to tell them all. So this is the aim, and we will probably start very soon, maybe already next week or the other week. I want to go very slowly with you so you don't feel that there's so much pressure. I understand some of you still may feel that this is not needed at all, that this is totally additional, but you can see that it doesn't take so much time. And I can tell you that as soon as the opportunity comes, you will see the benefits are huge. All right. It was a pleasure to see everybody. I hope to see you next week. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Bante. Everyone, can you please unmute? Can you put your hand at your chest? Please say goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Goodbye,
Venerable Sir.
Bye, everyone.